Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at both WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, when all daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including 5% best bets, normally priced at $35. As an added bonus, any picks packages loaded early for Overnight Tuesday or action during the week will also be priced at $9 until midnight on Monday. So make sure to take advantage of getting these $25 and $35 picks for only $9 before the clock strikes 12 and they return to regular price.
All right, guys, welcome in and a very happy Monday to you as we say goodbye to the NBA opening weekend. Put that behind us and get ready for what is going to be a loaded slate of games, not just here tonight, but all week long as teams start to get into that groove. And, well, so do we here on the NBA Tip-Off Show. And we've got 3 games we're going to break down for you, and we're going to do it with 3 of the finest over at WagerTalk.com as we welcome in the prop god, Mr. Andy Lang, in the house, as is straight from his mother's basement, apparently back again with the green wallpaper, Brian Leonard in the house there. And it's that, who did we put back to Mejia last time? That was fantastic. You guys just swap houses like that. It's unreal. Rob Vino in the house. Also, Vino, what's going on? Always a pleasure to see you guys on this Monday here. Nice slate of games and $9 Monday here, Andy, which means best bets $9 over at WagerTalk.com. What do you got for us?
Got a 4% play tonight. Off to a really good start, 7-3. Start the year would have been 8-2, but Porzingis, we had his under and points, rebounds, and assists last night, and sure enough, he goes over in overtime. The under would have hit easily. Of course, that's how it works. So, yeah, really excited. Got a good slate of games tonight. Mondays seem to be really, really loaded with really good prop opportunities. We did great on Mondays last year, so 4% is up right now. There's actually 2 plays attached to it, so good luck. Go grab that at WagerTalk.com. Look to extend the winning streak.
Yep, opportunities present themselves, as always, across the betting landscape here. Brian Leonard knows that all too well. And, Brian, I know on a $9 Monday, whether it be NHL maybe, whether it be NBA, a little look ahead to the baseball, I know you got something cooking for us over there at Wager Talk.
Yeah, we've got our top NBA play today, which you're going to get for free here, so don't buy that. We also have our top play in the NHL, number 1 the last 5 years in net profit in the NHL. Really like this game today, and you can only get it for $9 on Monday.
Oh, there you go. You got to love it. $9 Mondays is what it's all about, Mr. Vino, coming off another weekend of cashing tickets, my friend. Where are you looking here tonight? NBA? You looking Monday Night Football? What do you got for us at Wager Talk?
Actually, I'm looking all around for Steve Merrill to promote my $9 Monday or maybe undercut my $9 Monday with a better promo for himself. NBA is in action tonight, Joe. You know what? I played him last night, posted him last night, and in all 3 instances got the better part of this closing line value. So hopefully my CLV doesn't wind up in that, garbage can image on Twitter. It looks like we got to the right side quick in all 3 instances. Hopefully that's the case. And I think there's probably one more that I'm going to get to here today. So $9 Monday, always a good time to try anybody out here at WagerTalk.com. I'm possibly going to have college football, one college football play up to here today. One total that I like especially. So, yeah, loaded card, and glad to be back talking NBA with you guys.
Yeah, it's a good time of year, and it's an even better time to kick off the week with our contrarian play of the day here. Can't go wrong with that. I believe 2-0 here so far. The contrarian gods on this young season. Tonight, they're going to head out west. A little late game, I think. And they're going to take a look at The Portland Trailblazers taking on the Denver Nuggets. 4.5, 5 is what we're seeing here. Dame Lillard apparently decided with only playing, 29 games last year? I think he's rested. Pretty sure he's rested anyways. He's dropping 40 burgers all over the place here in a couple of games. But they were in LA last night. They're home here tonight. Denver rested, coming in, forgetting about that loss there, Randy, against Utah to start the season. So what do you think here? 4.5 is the number with the contrarian gods. What do you think about this matchup?
I'm not going against the contrarian gods anytime soon. Learned my lesson last year. A couple times I went against them, and never again. So, yeah, I don't know. I've watched this Denver team. I know they're 2-1. They look a little clunky. I'm sure it's going to take a little bit for Murray to get in there, and Porter and everything. I'm not worried about them long term, but they get a nice little spot with Portland coming off the back-to-back against huge win against title contender Lakers. So props wise, I'm certainly not going to be taking unders on Damian Lillard. But it's that you brought it up. It's a back-to-back, but it's just the beginning of the year. So this seems like a little bit of a different type of back-to-back rather than one that we'll have maybe in February. So I do have a little bit of a different way to look at this one. If you're interested in taking Damian Lillard over his points, I think you could look at his 3-pointers and take over 3.5. The reason is it's plus 120. So if he's going to get over 26.5 points, he's probably going to hit at least 4 3-pointers. He was 1 for 8 in his first game and then has just obliterated it. He's taking into the teens. If you think Lillard's over his total, I would go over and grab probably 35 cents extra value by taking his over 3.5 made 3-pointers. But I'm going to the big man himself, Jokic, and I'm going to look at his assists plus rebounds number. It's 20.5. He's had 22 and 29 the last 2 games. I do think Nurkic off of a back-to-back is a pretty good spot. So Jokic seems to be rested. Look at assists and rebounds. I don't want to get involved with this PRA altogether because they just put the number so high. But 22 and 29 the last 2 games, that gives me enough value to fire away on Jokic over assists and rebounds.
All right, boom. Great way to look at it there. Brian Leonard, what do you think here? You've been impressed with Denver's turnaround since that Utah game, or you thinking this might be a little too many points here on the road tonight?
Andy made a joke about the Lakers yesterday being a championship contender. Speaking of jokes, I was watching the Cavaliers game last night. Great game against Washington. And the announcers, Austin Carr and Brad Daugherty, both former Cleveland superstars in their own right, were joking about LeBron spending his 50th season in the NBA having to play with these players on the Lakers, and they kind of laughed about the whole thing. They were talking in the offseason about him wanting to come back to Cleveland, and everybody's thinking, why? We don't need him. Love LeBron, but he put himself in a bad position with the Lakers, and now they're going to have to deal with it. It wouldn't surprise me at all if he has some mysterious injuries coming up pretty soon, either him or the brow. Portland, you mentioned it on the intro. Lillard missing a lot of the last season. He's got a chance to rest up, and he's looked great so far. It's a special season for him. A lot of people are saying that they thought when he came back from the injury he wouldn't have it any longer, but this guy is a competitor. Love to watch him play. And I think they are a decent play tonight. Denver's a team which I think is going to be very good at the end of the season as long as they remain healthy. But right now, your best 2 players are coming back from a little bit of an injury, especially your second best player. But you've got Denver right now trying to find some roles. Looking back now, the loss to Utah, I guess, wasn't as embarrassing as what we thought. But this Denver team, I like them as the season goes on. I'm hoping they struggle a little bit now out the gate so we can get some advantage on them when they come back to full health and guys are rested and have all their facilities back with them when they are able to get on the court and run 30, 35 minutes every night. But as for tonight, this Portland team right now has got something to prove a little bit. Denver just wants to make the playoffs and get to the championship. Portland comes out with a little bit more fire to start this season, and I like Portland in tonight's game.
So it kind of hard to not. I think he's got a single dropping tonight, Vino. I know you have it too. There, good old Dame Time. It's that song is being released. 41 points in the last 2 games apiece. There, 6 threes last night, 5 against Phoenix. Kind of hard to say, hey, lay the 4.5, 5 because it appears in the fourth quarter. It is Dame Time, especially at home here. So, what do you think about the contrarian gods backing him tonight?
Well, listen, first off, I had to spend the off season investing in lightning proofing this office that I sit in to do these shows for these contrarian guys. I'm not going to get struck by a bolt from them at all this season. And I'm going to fly right in front of their face here, too, because I like Denver in the game. The numbers moved up, guys, a little bit, 3.5 to 5. You can get 4.5s out there, I guess, is a little bit of a difference, but for a couple of reasons. Andy talked about how the back-to-backs become a little bit more playable in mid-season, but yet this weekend we found 2 already that came through. Happened to have a piece of both of them. Dallas against Memphis on Saturday night. Memphis was off back-to-back or in a back-to-back situation with travel, a little shorthanded. Dallas won by 40-something points, and then yesterday Oklahoma City was in a back-to-back situation against the T-Wolves, and the T-Wolves cover a fairly large number, 8.5, 9. So I think they are playable. And where Portland's concerned, the starting 5 did play not just big minutes, but they were pressure minutes, right? They win 106, 104. At the end of the game, you still had to be playing. It wasn't a case where we played 34 and sat the last 5 with a towel around our neck. Josh Hart, 36-27, Grant, 34-42, Nurkic, 30, Simons, almost 36, and Lillard, a little over 34 minutes. So the bench isn't that great for Portland at this point in time. And, they won by 2 yesterday with their opponent, the LA Lakers, brilliantly shooting 18% from three-point land again. So they played that gang of crooked shooters, and they win by 2. They play their hearts out. They win the game. Now they get Denver on rest. It's a divisional match. I don't know that Denver heading into the season would have considered Portland a threat to win this division, or at least the major threat to win this division. Minnesota probably would have been that team. But Portland sits here 3-0. I think that can get Denver's attention a little bit. Denver's already beaten Golden State this season. So when they're focused, I think they can be ready to go out and get a victory. I think that Denver's depth probably is a big advantage here. Andy mentioned Jokic at center. That's an advantage. And I just wonder, I know they're bringing him along slowly, and I know when we get to midseason, as long as injury doesn't strike again, Jamal Murray will probably be in consistent night in, night out type of form. But I think with Lillard doing what he's done so far the last couple of games, that could light a spark under Jamal Murray here a little bit. So I like Denver. I think it's the right side here against this team. I would expect Portland just to be a little bit winded maybe by fourth quarter, and Denver gets the win.
Denver 3-1 last year against Portland. They have won 14 of the past 18 against the Trailblazers, but the contrarian gods say, ha! The new year. Give me them 4.5 points with the Portland Trailblazers. All right. We have a featured matchup here tonight, and should be an interesting one here for both these teams, as the Memphis Grizzlies is going to be hosting the Brooklyn Nets. Just about a pick 'em, give a point here or there with Memphis and Brooklyn, even 1.5 I saw earlier today. We did see this total get shot up from 228.5 all the way up to 234 now. So I'm guessing the market thinks there's going to be some points in this one. Let's start, if we can, with the prop betting market there. Andy, tell me who you're looking at in this matchup.
Well, there might be points. I'm guessing they're not going to be coming from Ben Simmons. He's been a really good under on the point. No, seriously.
You're right.
There were 2 guys I was very excited to bet under their points coming into the year, Chris Paul and Ben Simmons. It's worked out pretty well. He had 4 against the Pelicans, 6 against the Raptors. He's 0 for 2 on free throw attempts this season, has not attempted a 3-point shot. And I think we got a really good glimpse as to what his role is going to be most of the part against Toronto. We saw his minutes in the low to mid-30s, rebounding, passing. And if he's focusing on rebounding and passing, and he's not shooting free throws, that means he's going to have to get to 5 made field goals. And you just look at this Brooklyn team, and they're taking, the main guys, Kyrie and Durant, are taking almost 50% of the shot attempts, and there's other guys who their job is to score, and that's not what Ben Simmons' role is so far. It looks like it's to really help out with rebounding and work the ball around and get other guys shot attempts. So if they keep hanging this 8.5 point total, I'm going to keep taking it, and I'm going to keep taking it on the under. One guy that I've really liked what I've seen for rebounding is Nicholas Claxton, and they got his number at 7.5 rebounds. I think that is entirely too low. Rebounding really, really well, especially the last 2 games, going for 10 and 11. He's the leading rebounder on the team. He's averaging 30 minutes a game. Memphis gives up over 21 rebounds a game to forwards. I think it's a shockingly low number considering he's gone to 10 and 11. So you might look at him as a double-double candidate, but I'll just play it safe and take Claxton over 7.5 rebounds.
All right, looking at Claxton up and over there on the boards. Interesting way to look at it. Brian Leonard, what do you think here? I mean, the total tells us a lot about what the market thinks is going to happen in this game. It's got shootout written all over it, not like either of these two teams have laid down the defense at any point yet. So what do you think we're going to get tonight?
I think we've got a nice handicapping situation on the Nets games this year. I didn't think I'd be saying this when you've got a 6'10" point guard, but you've got the Nets are a bad rebounding team. And we saw it in the original season opener, and they played New Orleans. New Orleans crushed them on the boards. Minnesota has the ability to crush them on the boards here, which surprises me why the line is only 1. I know Brooklyn's got some players back, some shooters from the outside. They're not fully healthy yet, but they've got some guys that can hit the outside shots. And when you've got Kyrie, as much as I dislike him since he's left Cleveland, he does hit people with open shots from the perimeter. So that's why I think this line is where it is from a total standpoint. Both teams should be able to score. Memphis, if you take a look at Memphis this year, second half points, they've been dominating. And Brooklyn's a team that struggles in that regard. So we may see a lot of missed shots by Memphis, but they'll be able to get that rebound and put it right back up again and have some success against this Brooklyn team. I prefer the Memphis side here. I think the line's slightly cheap. I also like the over. It would not surprise me to see this game go up and over the total, even though it has moved so much so far today. I like the Memphis team overall. Brooklyn, a lot of star power on that team, but we'll have to see how that works out. When one of your key components doesn't really play at all last year. So it's a learning curve right now for this Brooklyn team playing all together. I remember last year Kyrie missed half the games when he had to go on the road. So it's still a learning situation here for Brooklyn. I prefer Memphis here laying the small number of 1.
Okay, like in Memphis, get it done. The home team there. How about it, Vino? You looking total in this one? Seems like everyone else is.
Yeah, I think it's the immediate way to look, Joe. And I'm with Brian. I think you could probably still get over out of this game. 2 of the top 10 teams in pace right now. I think Memphis was 6. The other side, Brooklyn, is 9. Memphis games so far, their totals have gone 233, 251, 227. The 233 was against Dallas, where Memphis only contributed 96. And so when they do contribute, you have to believe that they can get to 233 fairly easily. Brooklyn, Andy mentioned the fact that Ben Simmons is not scoring points, and he's obviously not helping much after 2 games on defense either, because the Nets are still allowing 49% field goal percentage after 2 games. I just don't know that this is going to be a good defensive team, except for, isolated situations where they're extremely motivated to do so. I think back to last year when they came here to Philadelphia in the Ben Simmons return game, and they just put a defensive shield around Philadelphia that night. But that's not going to be the norm for the Nets. The norm is going to be get up and down the floor. They do have Joe Harris back now. Not only did Simmons not play much last year, Joe Harris, I don't think, played at all. Almost 18 minutes in his first game back for the Nets. So I think as he progresses along, they do get an extra shooter. with the pace there, Joe, and the shot attempts there, and Memphis in a bit of an offensive bounce back game, the 96 happened because, again, they were in a back-to-back situation. Ja Morant had scored 49 the night before, and then they walk into Dallas, and Dallas obviously motivated for that contest, divisional team that they're contending with for first place, and they just put a hurting on them. But here I could see up and down offensive basketball. Pace will be there. Shot makers are there. Fouls certainly, should occur. Kyrie and Ja and Kevin Durant all great at getting to the free throw line. I don't know if we're going to get Dillon Brooks back for this game for Memphis. It would probably help them a bit offensively, but the whole host of shooters that they have there just at a poor three-point shooting game. Guys like Desmond Bane probably bounce back. So I'll stay with the over. Even though it's moved this much, I think you can still get over the number.
Couple of numbers keep in mind here, guys. Brooklyn attempting 37% of its shots from behind the arc. And it appears that Memphis, between Houston and Dallas, 33 of 74 they've given up from behind the arc. So over, absolutely probably the way to look in this game. And speaking of over, we'll head to our overtime matchup. And we'll focus on the total in this one here, guys. And, well, hell, why not? Everybody's favorite team now, the San Antonio Spurs, taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves. I mean, who doesn't love San Antonio? The market just keeps betting them and betting them and betting them. And what do you think here? Minnesota, we know they can score, but this total from 230.5 up to as high as 235, I saw it. So talk to me here, Andy, in a game that is lined this much in the total. Who are you looking at for? Are you fading, guys? What are you doing here?
San Antonio is probably just going to be one of those teams where I have very, very few props on. I can't figure them out. I mean, I guess you're probably focusing on Vassell and Keldon Johnson, but I'm going to go to the other side. I looked very, very hard at Rudy Gobert, and my gosh, as the market and the books already got out in front of Gobert, his rebound total tonight is 14.5. That's in regulation. It's crazy the books are putting numbers that high. But I'm going to go with D'Angelo Russell over 14.5 points. I think you got a beautiful rebound spot for him. He only had 6 points on Sunday, played only 26 minutes, only took 5 field goal attempts. But the 2 games before that, 23 and 20 points while playing 35 and 39 minutes. Played low minutes last night. I think this is a really, really nice spot for him to get back to his normal minutes total, his normal field goal attempts, and he should fly over this in a high-scoring affair. So D'Angelo Russell over 14.5 points, by far my favorite prop in this one.
So, Brian, I don't think I'm going out on a limb here to say this will probably be the best defensive team San Antonio has played thus far. And they've been bombs away. I mean, 39-40% from behind the arc. They've been crushing it. Do you agree with this line move up, or could you only look on an under situation now?
Well, I take a look at the advanced stats at cleaning the glass. Defensively, points per possession against Charlotte, they were in the 6th percentile, 21st percentile against Indiana, 39th percentile against Philadelphia. So obviously they're not playing very good defense. Charlotte's a team that is one of the worst defensive teams in the league. Indiana, Andy would know, a team right now that they're in the tanking mode, or at least trying to get as close to tanking as they possibly can. And Philadelphia, the team I picked to win it all this year, starts the season 0-3, not looking very good offensively at all. So now they're going against a team that, as you mentioned, can play a little bit of defense here in Minnesota. You take a look at the last 2 times they played last year. We're looking at 288 points, 248 points. These are teams that get up and down the court. I think it'll happen again here. I prefer the over in this one. But San Antonio really hasn't paid anybody. In Minnesota, I think their 2 wins are against Oklahoma City. So we really haven't seen either one of these teams play a team that is playing decently well so far this season. So I don't know what we can gain out of both of them. But the Spurs opened the season at home. The offense was horrendous. They go on the road. The offense is great. This game's on the road. Who knows? But I prefer the over in this one.
Going up and over. Can understand it here, Rob, but the market, full agreement on the over. Any value to say keep going, or do you think under is the way to look here?
You know, there's three teams out there, Joe, where it's going to be, we're going to have to draw that line. Remember a few years back, we used to use 240 as the line in totals, and those three teams would be Indiana, Utah, and San Antonio. You know, just what is too much to go ahead and play over with these three teams, because they're all basically the same thing. They play at very quick pace. I would say that neither Utah or San Antonio, it's not like they don't play any defense, but when you look up and down the roster, they just don't have any natural defenders on the team. So you can only go one way. And it's odd to see a Greg Popovich team built this way, but it's so young and they have what they have for talent. And so what they are right now is the number 3 team in pace in the NBA, and you can expect them to try and run against Minnesota. But I think, you know, and this is why we can't blanket statement anything, right? Because we just talked about a back-to-back situation earlier, and here we're talking about another one with Minnesota. But I think it's totally different because it almost seems like Minnesota had one eye looking ahead to this game, knowing that they were going to play back-to-backs. Andy talked about the fact that D'Angelo Russell didn't take any shots. The starters didn't play a heck of a lot of minutes. And not only did D'Angelo Russell not shoot the ball, he only shot 5 times, but Karl Anthony Towns, 9 shots. McDaniels, 9 shots. Rudy Gobert, 9 shots. The only guy who shot and the guy who played the most at 33 minutes was Anthony Edwards. But it seemed to me that Minnesota against OKC last night knew they had a team on a back-to-back, a team they could handle, kind of preserved the starters' minutes in anticipation for this game and in hopes of getting them both, right? You want to win them both against 2 teams that you're supposed to beat. So Minnesota might be in okay shape for a back-to-back team as far as you know, an early fatigue factor would go. I don't think they'll be fatigued here. Karl Anthony Towns might also be a good prop bet tonight because he really didn't do much last night in that effort. You know, I'm going to say, Joe, that I would play over right now until I see San Antonio stopped. I mean, when they played Indiana a few nights back, I mean, what did that game hit? That game, it got to 270, I believe, probably higher than 270. Yeah. So they're more than capable of doing so. They're going to run. Minnesota likely to run with them. So I'll try over until we define what's too high for this team.
Yeah, it's coming. Who knows? Might get pushed up to the mid-240s. Stranger things have happened here. Let's see. We got plenty of time to figure that out, though, guys. But in the meantime, we do got to come up with some best bets. And a quick reminder, it is $9 Monday, which means $9 best bets right now. Andy Lang, he told you, locked and loaded, as is Brian Leonard and Rob Vino. Guys, head over to their pages now at WagerTalk.com. Grab those best bets tonight for just $9. Gotta love it. All right, Andy, you know the routine. 60 seconds on the clock here, my friend. Do with it as you may. Just give us a best bet and tell us where you're going here tonight.
Yeah, we got a 4% play up at WagerTalk.com. Started off 7-3 so far, so very happy with where we're at. Real quick, Rob, that San Antonio game, the Pacers started to hack a hurdle in late in the game. They did. With 3 minutes left, the score was 126-115. That final score was 137-134. It was a free throw hack fest. It was absolutely disgusting to watch as a basketball fan, but a beautiful thing if you're rooting for the Pacers to lose like I am. I'm going to go with Al Horford under 19.5 points, rebounds, and assists as my best bet tonight. He's played 2 games, gone under in both games, going for 12 and 15. Al Horford has not made a 2-point basket yet this year. He's 5 for 10 from threes and 0 for 2 from 2-pointers. This is a team that depends on Tatum, Brown, White, Grant Williams, and Brogdon. They're all scoring more than him. Tatum and Brown have been out-rebounding him. He's not getting a lot of stats, so take his under PRA tonight.
Ooh, like that. All right, good stuff there, Andy. $9 best bets up and available, guys. Brian Leonard, he's got something cooking there. And what do you got for us here on the show, Brian?
Yeah, $9 Monday. Get my top play in the NHL. Number 1 the last 5 years in net profit. Number 2 last year. Andrew McGinnis had a terrific year, and I came a second behind him. But overall, Hockey's been our most profitable sport for the last 5 years, and we've got to play tonight in the NHL. Massive calls trying to get me to bet this game. Houston to Utah. I think they're all coming from James behind the scenes and wants to hear a little bit about the Houston Rockets. Utah Jazz have got to be the most impressive team so far this year based on what we expected. But you take a look at what they've done. They were big underdogs against the 3 teams that they played. Now they're a road favorite against a Houston team that they beat by 31 and 34 points at 2 of their games last year. Houston's winless. Houston will give the better effort tonight. We will take Houston to get their first victory of the season over the undefeated Utah Jazz.
Ooh. I'm shocked you got buzzed, Brian. From what I understand, you could have just kept going and going. Like Robert heard he was going with Houston and just kicked his feet up there, Vino. Come on, man. Bring us back down. Tell us in 60 seconds, Vino, where you going for a best bet tonight?
Yeah, I'm slightly intrigued at how many Canadians do we have as analysts here, and Brian Leonard is number 1 in hockey the last 5 years. They should all be ashamed of themselves. It's unbelievable. I'll go to the top of the board, guys. Doc Rivers really seemed PO'd at his team after they lost to San Antonio and basically said that the team 3 games into the season is deciding to pick and choose when they want to play games. They didn't want to play against San Antonio, and it showed. Tonight, they're double-digit favorites again against the Pacers. I'm going to shorten this up and play first half. The 76ers are minus 7.5. If the Pacers have a habit of coming out and digging first half trenches, they get themselves in a hole. They try to dig themselves out. I guess that's a great way to tank, just get behind by so much that you can't possibly come back. But if they do so here, I think Philly will come out of the chute quick. So I'll lay 7.5 with the Sixers first half in anticipation of a good start tonight.
All right. First half, it is there, guys, across the board. One more time, recap it for you as Andy Lang's going Al Horford under 19.5 PRA tonight against the Bulls. Rob Vino says back those Sixers in the first half as they are not happy, especially now that the Phillies are heading to the World Series. The Eagles are heading to the Super Bowl, and they're heading for ping pong balls. Lay the 7.5. Brian Leonard says Houston. What? Yes, Houston +2. Screw you, Utah. That's right. And don't forget $9 Monday, which means Brian and Rob and Andy Lang. Those best bets are locked and loaded. Just $9. Go hop on over there, guys. Grab those best bets tonight. No reason not to make it a profitable Monday here. And if you have a chance, those of you joining us on YouTube, hit that bell in the upper right-hand corner, the subscribe button. Or you can simply just download the brand new WagerTalk TV app across all of your smart platforms there, whether it be your phone, your TV, head to your app store, search WagerTalk TV, download that app, and get everything, all the content, all the plays, all the shows on demand. And make plans. Come back and join us again tomorrow. We do it all over again for another NBA tip-off show. Until then, on behalf of Andy, Rob, and Brian, guys, we appreciate your time. Best of luck with all your plays here tonight. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. Good luck.
Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at both WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com. When all daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including 5% best bets, normally priced at $35. As an added bonus, any picks packages loaded early for Overnight Tuesday or action during the week will also be priced at $9 until midnight on Monday. So make sure to take advantage of getting these $25 and $35 picks for only $9 before the clock strikes 12 and they return to regular price.